Alright, so today we're going to be talking about something that piqued my interest about a month ago. You see, I've talked about commentators before on this channel, like John Swan and John Swan. John was a commentator who not only lacked integrity and honesty, but he built his entire brand off of criticizing others for lacking these qualities as well, which made his whole eventual downfall pretty ironic as the man who stood for the truth was exposed as a liar. Most people in commentary would prefer to believe that people like John are bad apples, and this isn't indicative of any greater trend or issue in the community. But today I wanted to dispel this idea because there's a YouTuber out there known as Edwin's Generation, who is most notable for his lead roles in hits such as Cringe, What the Hell, My Circle Jerk is Bigger Than Yours.
Homeboy's got receipts.
Much of what I'm about to say applies to most of the commentary community. I'm just singling out our homie Edwin. Not just because bullying him is funny, but because he honestly might be the worst of the bunch, and I think it's important that he gets his fair share of criticism. But mainly because it's funny.
That holds about as much water as a leaky colander? The fuck is a colander?
I don't know.
Now, there are plenty of words to describe Edwin. He's a coward, morally inconsistent, stupid. But before we get into the nitty-gritty on why this guy is really just a glorified lolcow, we need to go all the way back to where it began. January 29th of this year.
I could put my finger up a 16-year-old and it's still legal.
I have to give you guys context on the Zapdye case. Basically, Zapdye was sexting a girl he believed was 16 when he was 20, and in these conversations, Zapdye would encourage her to send sexually suggestive images of herself, which she did. I think we can all agree that this is pretty inappropriate behavior, and it gets even worse when you look at the potential legal implications this kind of behavior could have. If you actually look up the federal definition of CP, it doesn't have to be 100% nude, nor does it have to depict a sexual action, it just needs to be sexually suggestive. So an image of her covering her breasts with one arm could very easily be considered cheese pizza. So if Zapdye's actions are morally wrong, and they're also potentially legally wrong, what's the defense now? I was curious, so I went searching for answers, and this is when I ran into Homie Esquire himself, who gave me an electrifying brain blast on how this would play out in a court of law.
It's so, they keep thinking that I got point over you, look at this. You could still go to jail. No, the girl literally felt bad for what she did to Zapdye. He ain't going to jail. There's no resentment, I mean, it's not that, anyways, such a waste of time.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works. That's really not how this works at all, homie.
In your video.
You don't know how the fucking law works, dude.
Think.
It's idiotic. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm the idiot here. Tell me if I'm the idiot. But in order for someone to be prosecuted, doesn't there have to be someone to prosecute it? Like I could commit a crime, but if nobody like sues me for it or prosecutes me, I just get away with it, right? Like, I'm so sick of this annoying, he broke the law, it's too, he's gonna go. Like, stop it! Stop all this fucking
Edwin really wanted to hammer home this idea that Heather's lack of resentment somehow means that Zapdye can't go to jail. Now I, being a genius, thought he was wrong. So I took to Twitter and kindly told Edwin, this is a completely demented take, and you're kinda stupid. Now Edwin would end up seeing my call-out post, and instead of conceding that he didn't know what he was talking about, Edwin said something that truly piqued my interest. You must be new to my channels. I make it a point to allow different opinions into my streams. Come on through. Might go live tonight or tomorrow. Or quote tweet me again mad over me guesting somebody else's stream, lol. Really? You make it a point to allow different opinions? Okay, so I decided maybe I need to do some actual research on Edwin. I needed to know what I was getting into if I ever wanted to go on to a show. So I went over to his Patreon and pledged a full $2 a month to get exclusive access to his stream VODs and sat through hours upon hours of live streams to get a better understanding of who this guy was. And let me just say, it wasn't fun. At all.
I'm gonna fucking take my big cock out.
Obviously, all allegations have their own nuances, and each situation is going to be different, but it's still important to hold everyone to the same moral standards, or else you'll end up looking like Edwin. Take for example, this individual. Pyro believed that Ivory was 16, as that was what it said in his Twitter bio, and every source saying that Ivory was 15 at some point was unavailable to Pyro. In the UK, it is legal to have sexual conversations with the 16-year-old, provided that no nude images are exchanged. Also, reasonable mistake of age is a valid defense in this case. Considering Pyro was around 19 or 20 at the time, this is a pretty comparable situation to Zaptai. The only difference is that Zaptai genuinely wanted to have sex with a 16-year-old girl and received sexually suggestive images from said girl, whereas Pyro was engaging in roleplay. Now, while what Pyro did is probably legal, it is still a huge issue morally for a 1.5 million subscriber YouTuber to engage in sexual roleplay with someone that young, especially without asking for their age. You can have whatever opinion you want, but it should be pretty clear that what Pyro did is not nearly as bad as what Zaptai did. So Edwin, someone who is very charitable to Zaptai, should have no problem forgiving Pyro.
I don't know why this needs to be said, but in case, I do have like a lot of people in here. So if you're an adult, if you're over the age of 18 and you're conversing with a minor, anyone that's under the age of 18, okay, I don't care if the age of consent is 17, 16, 15, 13 or whatever with the other person you're talking to, I don't care. If you're talking to them and they start sending you weird feet pictures or they ask you for stuff that's like sexual in nature, block that shit immediately.
Whoa, slow down there, pal. That's not exactly what I'd expect to come out of your mouth.
That I think people are inclined to dismiss it, right? Because there's no nudes exchanged. But people, if they're getting off to this and he's talking to a minor, why does that matter? That's exploiting someone that hasn't fully developed their brain yet. It's not even mature age, dude.
Okay, now I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about this that seems off. Pyro role-playing with Ivory is somehow exploiting someone who hasn't fully developed their brain yet. Okay, fair enough. But Zaptai manipulating someone he believed was 16 years old to send him sexually suggestive images isn't? Call it turnabout contradiction? This isn't adding up. I find it ironic how he then went on his holier-than-thou crusade against content creators who technically got the story right, at least more right than people like Edwin, saying that they needed to correct the record for themselves.
See, he's saying he doesn't want to do a video because plenty of people will probably follow up and cover it. But it's not about doing a video because other people are going to cover the updates. It's about correcting the record for yourself.
If this is a standard you're going to hold others to, it's amazing how you won't hold yourself to the same standard, as while you would go on to do a live stream responding to Pyro's video, you kept it behind your Patreon and it's not even watchable anymore, so good job, homie.
I'm sorry, you're dealing with Homeboys Got Receipts, not a fucking average retard on YouTube, alright?
Jacqueline Glenn gave Edwin the most mild criticism imaginable regarding his involvement in the Onision documentary.
It could be argued that my appearance could add exposure to the documentary. I mean, I would hate to make that argument because it sounds arrogant, but still, maybe some people are like, oh, Edwin's in it. Maybe it's not so bad.
This is the reason why you being in it is a problem. Because there are people that are fans of you, that trust you, that are now going to give more respect and be more willing to listen to the things in this documentary, many of which are untrue, and now obviously are not respecting the wishes of the people who are actually involved. I don't think any YouTuber should have been a part of this for that very reason. Nobody trusted them. We all had a feeling this was going to happen, and it did. So if you're going to be a part of something without a guarantee in paper contract you can sue them for, you gotta be more careful, man. Like, I'm not trying to shit on him too much because I do think he fully believed them that they weren't going to do this, but they did.
Once one girl spoke up about her story, like some people within the community, they saw like, wow, she finally did it.
Once one girl spoke out about her story? What girl? What one girl? What commentary are you trying to add to right now? Do you know that there's going to be a narrative about the one girl or the other girls that spoke out? Because I thought you were trying to prevent this story from coming out. But if you're going to discuss it at all with people who are filming you, wouldn't that make you kind of wonder if they're going to tell that story? It would for me. And like I said, I get it. I know it's probably hard to tell the Onision story without talking about these girls, but that's what was promised. That's what you told us was promised.
Anyways, I vetted them thoroughly and they are not using victims' stories without consent. Lastly, they will include my rant on Chris Hansen.
They don't have consent. They very much use the stories, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to use any of your rant on Chris Hansen. So why are you sitting there talking about the girl that told her story? It shouldn't be brought up, ever.
So how would Edwin respond to this very legitimate concern?
I can soon get over it because it's just affecting me so bad. But the one thing that I've worked so hard on my YouTube channel is for my integrity.
Yes.
And I care so much about every story that I put out.
I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause.
Imagine booting up an 8-hour live stream where you fake cry in front of your audience while your friends call in to put band-aids on your ego, all because someone said, next time be more careful after you messed up. This is taking sympathy baiting to another level. This is honestly comedy gold.
Like, Technicals is like a punching bag for me. Like, I love shitting on him. You guys want to see Alabama Edwin? Bring up Technicals. I will fucking shit on him all day. Oh my god, I just have so much much fun. That's why I don't like the guy, because he's got no consistency and he's a major fucking pussy. Oh, I love saying that. Sorry guys, I don't say that about a lot of people, but this dude is a major fucking pussy. Oh, I would love for someone to like just play devil's advocate for him.
Back during the whole commentary Civil War debacle, Edwin was practically begging for Technical's attention when Tech responded with, "Dude, I don't care who you are, and you're kinda being a dick." Edwin started getting all high and mighty like, "Oh, look at Technicals. He's not responding to me? You know, I'm not just any homeboy, right? I am the homeboy who's got receipts, and he's ducking me. Can you believe that? What a coward."
Called into Tommy's show. I was trying to get him to talk some shit, and he refused to talk shit. And now look at him. He's still not talking shit, which he should be. Technicals is a pussy.
So about 2 months later, Tech decides, you know what? It's time. So he called into Stardust's stream, and conveniently enough, Edwin was in the call as well. It looks like it was finally Edwin's opportunity to confront Tech on his dishonesty and ask him questions for an upcoming Zero video. Now I'm gonna give you a few options in this situation, and you have to guess which one Edwin chose. Did Edwin A, go completely pussy mode and try to ignore Technicals for as long as possible?
Guys, this is about to go down like Tomato Town.
Why are you racist?
I'm not. Why are you racist?
You literally called me an animal. Edwin, you're quiet. How come whenever you can actually talk to me, you're quiet?
Oh shit.
He didn't want to interrupt it. He didn't want to interrupt.
Is that the excuse?
Holy shit, that was annoying as fuck. Oh my god.
Yeah, is that how you're gonna open it up?
Okay, Edwin, time to rip into Technicals.
You guys know I have an entire side chat where I just piss people off, right? Like a whole side channel.
But yeah, now that Edwin and Technicals are in chat, Edwin?
What time is it for you, Edwin?
Way too late, 2:30.
Alright, Edwin, you gonna destroy Technicals in a debate, or?
Yeah, hop in
What
whenever.
do you want me to say to him? I have nothing to say to him.
You have nothing to say right now?
What do you want me to say to you? I have nothing to say to you.
What do you mean? Am I your fucking dad? Do I need to tell you what to say? Just think something up.
Alright, yeah, you're a pussy.
Is that it?
Call Edwin King Boo, because this dude turned Casper the second Tech looked at him. I'm supposed to sit here and say, yep, this dude isn't a grifter. Meanwhile, after hyping up a video about the Zero case for several months by hounding and taunting Technicals, there's still been no Zero video.
Okay, yeah, no, they're talking about the dick, by the way, guys. They're definitely talking about the dick.
I honestly don't care what your stance on Zero is. Obviously, we can all agree that what he did was wrong. However, from a legal standpoint, there is no documentation of him asking for, sending, or receiving any sexual images with Katie. Now, just as we did with Pyro, let's compare Zero to Zaptai. Remember, Zaptai, when he was 20, received sexually suggestive images from someone he thought was a minor and encouraged her to send more. Personally, I think that is on par with, if not worse than, anything Zero was accused of. But not according to Homie. You see, anytime someone Edwin doesn't like becomes the center of controversy, he needs to do everything in his power to muddy the waters for that person. The problem is, he's not very smart, so it often doesn't work very well to anyone with half a brain, but when you surround yourself with Iggy Azalea on Helium and Tommy C's fanboy, who won't check you on anything you say...
Why did he change it to 20?
Because it doesn't look like he researched it well enough. I mean, he's boasting.
He's trying to
about
make it look worse, like it
Yeah.
was 19.
Zaptai was 19.
It's pretty easy to get away with spewing BS. Now, about a week after Technicals made his Zero video, he had a debate with Augie RFC, and Edwin and co would end up covering it on a live stream. Firstly, it's extremely clear that Homies Incorporated didn't actually watch the Technicals video.
Oh no! I covered the fucking falsehoods like you guys did for Zaptai. And
What was the falsehoods, though?
Yes, from falsehoods.
Okay.
What falsehoods,
Oh, is
though?
that a bad?
Oh, nothing. Just I don't know, the first 13 minutes of the video. To be fair though, you would have only known that had you watched the video, so don't worry. Right off the bat, it's hard for anyone to say, yeah, this is in good faith, when you're talking about a situation you know nothing about. I'm just gonna play a few clips of Edwin and co defending Zaptai, while flashing some completely unrelated screenshots. So tell us, homeboy, why is Zaptai better than Zero?
Well, for one, I think intent is huge. So if you're intending, like if your intention is to have pictures of a minor in your phone, and the other one is that you didn't know and you look really fucking stupid now. Like,
and it's his responsibility to be the adult in the situation and not talk to a kid that way, you know? Like, kids don't know any different sometimes. And that's just, to me, is the most disingenuous thing about the whole thing. Like, it's fucked.
I think that was a good point on Augie, to be honest. Like, the line is requesting child porn. He's just disingenuous and he's completely biased. And
something that I never understood is how Zaptai getting catfished matters as much as people think it does. I concede that Heather lied, but she lied and told him she was 16. That's still bad. Not as bad as, say, 14, but it's still bad.
Give me context. Like, why are you arguing against Zaptai, yet your boy went through the same thing? So you can sympathize with one, but not the other, even though the other has worse accusations.
Your Honor, my client was deceived, tricked, bamboozled. The girl may have been 4 years old, but she lied to him, and he thought she was 5. Therefore, my client is innocent.
I guess they exchanged some pictures, some of them provocative. None of them were under the impression that, like, she was underage.
Like, he's calling Tech disingenuous for supposedly brushing over what Zero did, while actively downplaying the severity of what Zaptai did, which is ironic.
Contrast of tone from his previous responses. That's because Zero wholeheartedly intended for this to be his suicide note. And had it not been for Vanessa, that may have well been the case.
Where did he condemn it? Where is the condemnation? Where is the condemnation?
Where's the condemnation? Yeah, it's almost as if you played a different segment of the video.
This, in my opinion, is probably the only serious and legitimate problem that people have with Zero. These messages on screen are 100% unacceptable. Do I condone the conversations that took place? No! Zero's conversations with Katie were 100% irresponsible and wrong in my opinion. Whether you decide to support Zero in the future is entirely up to you.
No condemnation. I mean, sure, if we just ignore all the times he condemned Zero. You guys do realize that your community is just one big circle jerk, right? Like, you guys aren't as relevant or respected as you think you are.
Just take the collective L and stop trying to one-up everyone, like, honestly.
It's just an on you how low people think of you, dude. Think about that. Sit on that, like, for a second, dude. We all think so low of you that we believe that you're so desperate to get your little fans to fucking try to infiltrate Augie. Oh, I'm sorry. Stop me. I love talking shit on talking technicals.
Oh no, this ragtag group of self-righteous grifters don't think highly of you. What will you ever do, Technical?
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Apparently, out of 13,500 people, they all think that Technical's won. So,
How the hell did that happen? Oh my god.
While it seems that most of this chat does see how Technicals is disingenuous, we're the minority, guys. We're the minority.
Well, when you're the minority across multiple different situations, let's just say there's a more common denominator than disingenuous content creators.
I can't believe that was 62.9% technicals. Was that mostly all of his, it's probably going to be all of his fan base, basically. Gotta be. What do you guys think? 62.9% of those people are sus as hell. Yeah, spaghetti. Yeah, I voted Augie. It's his fan and the Smash community. Right, yeah, the Smash community would be huge following this, actually, wouldn't it? Considering it was part of Zero stuff.
Have you ever considered that maybe, and this is just a hypothetical, so hear me out. Maybe you are the ones that are wrong? Maybe? It's hilarious to see, in real time, without any gotchas, the misinformation into Cope True combo.
Yeah, Colton, we went over that. Yeah, he lied. He said 20 and it's 19, and we know that. Technicals didn't get the details right. He gloats a lot. And you know what, dude? You didn't condemn him either.
These messages on screen are 100% unacceptable.
Right now, I'm annoyed that he keeps saying that he condemned Zero when he fucking didn't.
Zero's conversations with Katie were 100% irresponsible and wrong in my opinion.
I'm actually surprised. Like, look, guys. Okay, who in chat has never known about this story yet? Because Technicals is winning. So, If someone supports technicals,
Painful. Like,
if someone supports technicals, surely you can tell me how he condemned it.
100% irresponsible and wrong in my opinion.
I don't want to and again, I don't want to intimidate anybody because you might have a different opinion either. Obviously, 62% of people disagree with what I have to say probably, right?
So yeah, this is just another example of Edwin being a dumbass. Now, if I could divert your attention to something a bit more recent.
Here to fix and solving all the issues by dissolving you.
Mama Max had all these different allegations made against him, ranging from emotional abuse to sexual assault, animal abuse. These allegations were compiled into a video titled The Truth About Mama Max by some dude named Magnetar. So of course this became a topic of discussion and commentary, and Edwin covered this live on a stream because homeboy's got receipts. Now here's the problem. You see, Max did this whole campaign against YouTube called Pick a Side, Children or Pedophiles, and this struck a nerve with the commentary community for whatever reason. So let's contextualize this for a second. Max is someone Edwin doesn't like, Max is in hot water, and Edwin is a moron. So Edwin has to do everything in his power to muddy the waters, despite Max's response video being pretty solid across the board. As we go through Edwin's stream, I want you to take note of a few patterns that emerge. Number 1. Edwin can't read, contextualize, or remember anything. 2. Anytime Max provides valid or legitimate evidence, Edwin either discredits it or ignores it. And 3. Edwin is trying to uphold this narrative that Max is hyper-victimizing himself.
I really can't do this right now, Max. I'm sorry. Don't have to be sorry. I will come soon. Dude, these receipts are completely irrelevant. Like, what is this small talk? What is irrelevance? I just thought you should know that I did dream of taking care of you, and I'm sorry that I failed. Wait, I'm still confused. What is the claim that he's making to go with this receipt?
Wow, that's crazy. It's almost as if he's about to explain the relevance if you play the video.
A few months later, we talked things out. She asked if we could get back together, and I declined, but we remained friends. A week before she canceled me, I paid her $200 to watch the dogs while I flew out to go visit my dad. Everything was fine.
I just read all these fucking DMs and they're completely irrelevant to the shit that you're explaining. Max, you're fucking wasting my time. Oh my god, dude.
He's showing how they remained friends after they had broken up and just before she began accusing him, which is literally what he says, and you conveniently ignore that for some reason.
A week later, she asked my sister if I was seeing someone else, and my sister told her that I was. And then all of a sudden...
Where was that receipt?
Oh, I don't know. Where could that possibly be?
So... did Paulina make the abuse story immediately after you told her I was dating?
Yes.
How soon was that?
It was the next minute.
She starts with...
Who the fuck was that? What is this non-context?
And my sister told her that I was. And then all of a sudden, I become an abuser on her Instagram story.
What was that?
My sister...
Why isn't shit explained to us? This is so weird, dude. He just puts shit on the screen and just hopes it sticks. See that Mama Max is so fucking dishonest? Just like, I don't know, I guess I'm affected by it, I guess you could say. Who packs a video with receipts and the receipts don't match the video content? Right now that I'm reading the receipts, so far, Max is taking a big fat L. I really want to talk to Max. This feels like he's just manipulating his audience, bruh.
Or maybe you just don't know how to read? No, it has to be the former.
Volpazera, who they're about to get into now, is actually gone into our Discord and wanted to message you.
Volpazera is who?
Well. The person that's on the screen at the moment, on the tweets.
Okay, let's hear what he says about
on the screen.
People just see things flash on the screen. They don't really read what is being said, and they just assume that it's a good receipt, but it's like... ugh.
Anytime that Max showed proof that he cared for Paulina to help counter Paulina's claim that he never did, Edwin somehow still had a problem with it and called him dishonest because it wasn't recent enough.
I believe you. I believe that you were there for her in the beginning of your fucking relationship, Max. This is so dishonest, dude. I can't fucking deal with this so far, dude. Your receipts are fucking 2 years old?
Even though I was more than happy to drive her and go in with her to any of her other appointments.
Oh my god, what a saint, dude. He took her to the hospital.
So of course, when Max later presents screenshots from earlier this year, the end of their relationship, you'd think that would fix the issue, right?
I have been nothing but kind and sweet to her.
God, you're such a fucking angel, bro.
I swear, he's intentionally making sure that Max can't win. He'll say that Paulina never called him an abuser.
And then all of a sudden, I become an abuser on her.
Hold on. He became an abuser? We just read this entire thing, and nowhere did she say he was an abuser, right? Did I miss something?
But then later in the stream, we'll admit that Paulina was implying emotional abuse.
Paulina's really only accusing him of emotional abuse, right?
Yeah.
Then, he'll walk it back and say Max is over-victimizing himself.
So, as you can see, I was not the abuser in our relationship. She was.
But she never called you an abuser, so that's the problem that I have. Like, he's like victimizing himself so hella.
Paulina's really only accusing him of emotional abuse, right?
Yeah.
And let's not forget that whether or not Paulina accused Max of abuse, that doesn't discredit her being emotionally manipulative, which you conveniently gloss over because, once again, Max is hyper-victimizing himself.
I think that's a pretty big point for whatever she says coming forward. If she's threatened suicide that many times in the relationship, I think it's value. I think you could say she's emotionally manipulative. She's at least if she's saying that he's emotionally abusive, I think she's emotionally abusive. And he just pulled up 4 examples where she threatened to kill herself.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be honest with me. That's a pretty big blow.
Yep.
And continued to harass me, my
Okay, see, I don't think that's harassing him.
Wait, you don't think accusing him of crimes or like accusing him of abuse is
wait, what's the
harassment
crime?
if it's not true?
What's the crime?
She's posting the other girl's allegations, isn't she?
Not much of what she showed. She said go watch the video.
Didn't she promote Lucy?
And let's also not forget, if he wasn't abusive and Paulina isn't alleging abuse, then what does that make him?
So when I heard this, it like sickened me to my stomach that he would be so disgustingly dishonest and he would try to trick you guys, okay? So again, listen to the way he plays this phone call and then we're gonna listen to the unedited, longer edition that he shows, okay? Pay attention to this, guys. Your mind is about to be fucking blown, and if it is not, I want you to call into the show because this is so fucking gross to me. Like, as someone who like values transparency and like, you know, receipts and all this shit, fucking always got receipts, right? You would do this bullshit?
Edwin tries his hardest to stress that Max editing the phone call down to just relevant information was a dishonest and inexcusable attempt to mislead and trick his viewers.
Listen to this.
Why all the weird accusations though? Like the...
Because I'm so tired of seeing these fucking...
Why all the weird accusations? Because I'm so tired of seeing these 13-year-old edits, right? And now listen to the unedited part. Ready?
Why all the weird accusations though? Like the...
They're not accusations, first of all, and...
Whoa! Why did he take that out?
Second of all, because I'm so tired...
Why did he take out the part where she's saying they're not accusations?
See, in the spliced version, Olivia is making the accusation out of spite, but in the original version, she's making the accusations out of spite. It's clearly edited down to just the relevant information, and also to make it more coherent and flows better. Was he supposed to put all 31 minutes in the video? Yes, which is why he linked the full call in the description. How is he being dishonest or malicious if he supplied the full call himself in the same video?
Editing out the part where, like, first of all, it's not an accusation, that's completely inexcusable, in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
Because you're obviously building a narrative right there, 100%. Just to clarify, she's saying, like, they're not accusations. Like, she's like, this is the truth. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is it, right? Just in case it's not clear.
What? Accusation. A charge or claim that someone has done something illegal or wrong. These are clearly accusations, dude. I don't know why you're so hung up on this point.
This doesn't make him look good. None of this phone call makes him look good. However, if he splices it, like if he splices 1 minute and 15 seconds of it, he looks good for sure.
Dude, this isn't about who looks good in the phone call. That's not the purpose of the evidence. Max admits at the end of the video that he isn't perfect.
I'm not trying to prove to you I was a good boyfriend. I was always a spiteful little bitch after we would break up. I mean, because they would fucking sleep with someone they were talking to while we were still together.
So of course there are going to be moments in evidence that make him look bad. The point of providing this call is to prove that she's making those accusations with malice, and I genuinely don't see how that is debunked by her saying they're not accusations, especially when they clearly are. Edwin brought Nicholas Diorio on to cover the video. Personally, there's a lot of things I could say about Diorio, but he was actually fair and neutral in this discussion, and he would contest Edwin when he wasn't being charitable.
But I don't believe she ever said she was raped. I don't remember that.
I can't believe... Well, no, she is implying rape in some degree.
Okay, hold on. Nick, okay, let me argue against this, because what she says is that they had awkward sex with, like, when he would try to put it in her waking up.
No. She
Wake up
says
sex.
that her boundaries aren't respected and that he tries to fuck her while she's asleep.
Yeah.
She also said there was one instance where she said it was okay and then it was not, so they stopped. And then she said he continued to do it. I don't know what I'm going to call that, but I think there's a large quantity of people who would say that's like a rape allegation.
Okay. Well, but Jesus, now you're making me walk a fine fucking line.
As much as I don't like Nikki D, it was refreshing to see someone with half a brain give their opinion, as I consumed hours upon hours of Homeboy Scout receipts. Anyways, let's get to the part where Olivia extorts Max.
He also accused you of extortion, which
I don't even know what that means.
So basically, you try to pull money from him, which I think is absolute bullshit.
Here's evidence of her extorting me for money.
Here's evidence of her extorting for money. Fucking flashes it super quick. But if you actually pause and read his evidence, right?
If you pause and read the messages, you would see she quite literally said, and I quote, "I know you only contacted me to delete the TikToks. That is what Cameron said, at least. I will for a cost. Even though everything I said was true, Riley is sick." Then, in the next screenshot that you, for some unforeseen reason, skipped over, she then says, "You gave me $350 for my dog, but in reality you wanted me to be quiet," essentially confessing that she owed him for hush money, despite Max saying in those messages that he didn't care about the TikToks. Now, what is it called when you ask for hush money? I'll give you a bit to answer that.
What he says does not support what he shows on screen.
Then all that means is you aren't looking at the screen. There's no way you're this stupid, right? Like, do you guys want to know what convinced Edwin that Olivia was credible?
Now, look, okay, maybe it's because you're Latina, I can get your sense of humor. I don't know. What? That's obviously you're fucking joking around, are you not? Olivia says this means more than you know to me. So, hey, you know, it is appreciated, guys. This is fucking hard times. Maybe it's the Latino to Latino thing, but like, I feel like I get it. Like, maybe it's something that's hard to explain to someone, right?
Okay, let's just move on.
Everyone thinks like I'm being like, oh, this man's a pedophile.
Gee, I wonder why.
When I was a minor at 17, as a minor, dated me as a minor. As a minor, I've shown evidence that I was a minor, evidence of him dating me as a minor. I've dated as a minor. He takes advantage of insecure women and minors. The fact that I was a minor, but he dated me as a minor.
I'm not saying he's a pedophile. Your section literally has a trigger warning for grooming. But damn, go off, sis. Max started dating Lucy when he was 20 and she was 2 months from turning 18. Somebody call the police. Where this gets even dumber is that Lucy claimed Max makes his pedophile videos to hijack the YouTube algorithm or something, and this was Edwin's response to that.
You know how I said Max started making his videos targeting pedophiles specifically? So if you looked up Mama Max pedophile, it would come up with his own video, redirect to him. I didn't have enough to prove, like, hey, this guy's making pedophile videos to cover his ass, so I just left it.
So the pedophile videos to cover his ass accusation is very strong. We'll have to get to that on a separate occasion because I think that's huge.
Yeah, flooding the algorithm with one age-restricted video every 10 months is super sus, homie. Jesus, you're actually devoid of brain cells. I think it's worth criticizing the whole Max lying about his age thing, but I also think it's understandable that he would want to keep his birthday private to protect his identity. Once he got to personally know Lucy, he did tell her he was actually 20, and she was more than understanding enough to continue dating him. So, aside from the whole minor debacle, we now get to the other main allegation she makes.
We stayed there actually the night before going to Six Flags itself, where that is where he sexually assaulted me. I don't have a police report to back that one up. I don't have any physical evidence either. It was, like I said, 2017. I'm not going to go into the details of how he sexually assaulted me or anything.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. No details at all. Just trust me. It's one thing to not have evidence. I venture to say it's nearly impossible to actually have evidence proving sexual assault in most cases, so I'd completely understand if that was the case. But to not even divulge any details should be a red flag, right? Especially when the details you do give are false.
So I didn't do anything about it. I just waited until my flight to go home, and then when I was safe back in Australia, I ended things with him.
You are a fucking liar. We stayed together for 4 more months until the end of April when I broke up with you. Anyway, I've had enough listening to her lie her ass off. I just want to end this section.
Of course, Edwin doesn't acknowledge the screenshots. They just make Max look correct, and we can't have any of that. Let me get this straight. So Max uploading 1 video a year is a malicious cover-up, and that's a strong point. But Lucy lying about the details of her supposed assault isn't worth analyzing. When Max sent the video to Haley, that's traumatizing and Max is a psycho. But when Paulina threatened suicide multiple times, that's just, oh well, she's just a little unwell. Max is just hyper-victimizing himself. When Olivia is clearly extorting Max for money, you write it off as a joke because she's Latina. Integrity, ladies and gentlemen. This is peak commentary. I can look at Max and go, he's not perfect, especially in the Haley situation, but he's generally innocent of the serious claims made against him, so I can forgive him for the lesser offenses, especially ones that happened 8 years ago when he was only 18. But the way you paint this situation is that Max is dishonestly manipulating his audience, when in reality, he's mostly in the right, and you just don't know how to read. And it's not even like any of this information is hidden, or any of the context is missing. It was literally right in front of your face. So the only conclusions I can draw from this are that either you are so stupid that you can't read what's in front of you on the screen, or you are intentionally ignoring it to help push a narrative against someone you don't like.
Okay guys, I don't want to like prejudge here, but Mama Max has not responded to my DM on Instagram. Kind of sus if you ask me. Like, that does not sound like an innocent man.
Oh no. God forbid he doesn't respond to your Instagram DM. Only guilty people would refuse to talk to the one and only Homeboy's Got Receipts. It's one thing to make a few minor mistakes or inaccuracies. I've made some in my videos before, but Edwin is just completely ignoring anything that would make Max innocent. Like, this goes beyond mischaracterizing. This is literally more dishonest than anything I've mentioned in this video thus far. And then it got worse.
Being called a pedophile is almost like a badge of honor at this point.
I don't understand why the commentary community loves to run this collective defense for Tommy C. He's literally just an impoverished old man who sits in his room all day covering Twitter drama for a living. Like, what exactly makes him so important?
Hey, jerk off! Go fuck yourself! You're a fucking liar! You're a piece of shit! You're not a journalist! You don't give a— You're a clout chasing just another YouTuber! You're no different than anybody else! You don't give a rat's ass! And you can suck my dick! Yeah, fuck you! Fuck you! How about this? How about this? How about look at the camera? You know what? You look like a creepy pedophile. I don't know that for a fact, but it looks like you with the blood in your mouth and the fucking deep voice. Maybe you touched the kid too. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying, you cocksucker. You did that shit to me. I'll do it to fucking you jerk off.
Tommy C criticized Mama Max's Pick a Side campaign, and Mama Max would go on to respond by saying that Tommy platformed people like Mr. Girl and Vito, who he considers pedophiles.
Oh my, I didn't know making a video like an adult meant reacting to Twitter drama and screaming at the camera like a whiny little baby. All because I intentionally made a video worth talking about. Please teach me your ways, washed up commentary channel number 46,853.
Mr. Girl, cause you're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. You know, here's the thing about you. Like, I want to like you, because
I already like you.
Oh, that's great.
After these very hurtful attacks being made against poor old Tommy Senile, Edwin and co needed to rise up and defend Tommy from the evil Mommy Max. And of course, part of that defense was apparently inviting the guy who was just called a pedophile onto your stream to tell his side of the story.
As you saw, Mama Max called you a pedophile, correct?
Yes, which is why he will be receiving a cease and desist from a lawyer very shortly. And how he responds to that will determine what path forward we take.
He's talking about how Tommy C platforms and defends pedophiles. You know, he puts you in.
Well,
Mr.
Tommy
Girl.
C should also sue this guy. Let's be clear. This is illegal. This is just clear slander. If you go, Vito is a pedophile, that is a direct accusation against me and my character for which there is absolutely no proof or anything to back it up. It's a ridiculous assertion.
Really, there's nothing out there that would make people think you're a pedophile.
Okay, so don't fucking pretend that you're incapable of getting turned on by a 16-year-old. I mean, obviously the girls and cuties were much younger than I want to admit to ever getting turned on by.
Well, it doesn't get any easier than that now, does it?
Vito does not find attraction in children.
Saying Mr. Girl is a pedophile, I think even if he wanted to take it to court, they'd go, well, you admitted you're attracted to kids. I mean, you can argue technicalities all you want, but if somebody's going to call you a pedophile, you've kind of given them good reason to.
I mean, obviously the girls and cuties were much younger than I want to admit to ever getting turned on by.
Calling me a pedophile, I go, what? Because I'm friends with Mr. Girl and I said pedophiles need psychiatric treatment?
Vito said this: having basic empathy for non-defending pedophiles will ultimately lead to less child abuse. Non-defending means that we understand breaking the laws is a no-no.
I made a couple jokes because a bunch of people came at me calling me a pedophile, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna fucking rape a kid. Well, you know, like, that's not a good reason to call someone a pedophile. I wouldn't call somebody a pedophile for that.
New Super Mario Brothers. Whee!
understand breaking the laws is a no-no.
Vito does not find attraction in children.
Now, this is just my opinion, but I think most of the people who came to the conclusion that you're attracted to children did so because of your own conduct and words. It is entirely your fault that anyone thinks you're a pedophile, not Max's. After discussing the, in my opinion, frivolous lawsuit Vito planned on filing, the topic of Max's allegations came up, and this is what Vito had to say about them.
4 girls have come out with accusations against him.
Against Mama Max?
Yeah, against Mama Max, yeah.
Okay, I believe them 100%. I believe women. The way he talks and the way he acts, he sounds like the kind of person who would molest women. I imagine he probably raped them upside down and did horrible fucking things to them because Mama Max is a fucking psychopath devil who frankly needs to be stopped. The way he acts like a raper of women. He acts like the kind of person who tricks young women into coming to his house and molests them. That's just the way he sounds to me. I just feel like he's the kind of person who would rape women. Well, you notice a lot of the people who comment on his videos are young people who've been sexually abused. So that might be how he, finds people to molest, is that he gets all these kids excited by saying, that he's going to fight all the molesters. And they come to him and they go, oh, you're such a hero. And he goes, oh, if I'm a hero, you should take off your pants for me. I mean, that's just one way he might sneak up on these. He should come on and tell us whether he molests women. Because, 4 women have come out against him.
Okay, so now that Vito has made his stance very clear, what do you think the impartial, honest, and upstanding homeboy Scott Receipts did next?
He does some really theatrical content where he basically reenacts himself beating pedophiles to a pulp. So he's that kind of guy. He did this whole video, and I have a lot of very heavy criticisms. But and in the end of the video, he ended up accusing a boyfriend of one of the women of being a pedophile. So it seems like he's just kind of accusing everybody now. So your response to 5 women accusing you of being indecent conduct is to call one of their boyfriends a pedophile?
No, his response was the first hour of the video, addressing the claims against him, then adding a short segment at the end addressing Anthony.
I am not using this allegation to discredit Anthony or the rest of my exes.
This is a complete distraction. You're full of shit, Max.
Oh yes, this 4-minute section at the end of an hour-long video is a distraction from the debunking and contextualizing he does because he wants us to ignore the evidence he put forth. Wait, who am I kidding? Those parts just magically don't exist because Edwin ignored them, remember? It's like Vito is already spewing BS on your stream, and you're validating it by actively feeding into it. I don't think you can feign ignorance anymore. You are quite clearly muddying the waters intentionally because you don't like Mama Max. This isn't impartiality. You are clearly trying to build a narrative here.
This is when I would say the N-word.
So what did we learn today, kids? What is the TLDR of this video, if you will? Well, clearly it's that Boblax doesn't know how to play Pokemon. Like, dude, if you're trying to catch the Bibarel, why are you attacking it when it's already at low health? Just throw the Pokeball, dude. Edwin is a terrible commentator who not only lacks integrity, honesty, intelligence, and a spine, but criticizes others for lacking these qualities, all to form a narrative around the people he doesn't like, while he wonders why nobody respects him or takes him seriously. He has all the qualities of a modern-day lolcow, yet somehow he's an integral part of the commentary community. Well, I guess that says a lot about the rest of the community if he's considered one of its pillars. Anyways, thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.